Hi guys, Eevee Guy here. Welcome to a new video. Today I will do a Nuzlocke challenge in the Kalos region, in a Gen 6 games. So, Kalos gives us only 72 new Pokémon more, and all of those 72 new Pokémon, who knows what can come out from the grass and the sea for us to use. So, the rules for this challenge is, if a Pokémon faints, is dead, and must be boxed or released. I can only catch the first wild Pokémon in each route. Every time I defeat a gym leader, that gym will be my checkpoint. If I black out, I must reset from the last checkpoint. I will be playing set mode. I will use HM Mules if I need to. It's not really a rule, but you understand me. My level cap will start from level 15 and increase always 5 levels until the next gym. If it goes over level, I will put it in a box until it can be used again. This means this rule will bring advantages, but it will also bring disadvantages for myself. But of course, I will still try to match the levels from the gym leaders, if I need to. The ones below the level, of course. I can't heal in battle, I'm only allowed to use health items. And I can only use Pokémon from Gen 6 or Pokémon from previous generations that will evolve into Pokémon from Gen 6. So, put a like on that video and subscribe to my channel. Eevee will appreciate. And come with me in this adventure. So, we start in Vanilleville Town. We meet our friends on Aquacore Town to receive our starter. I choose Fennekin because it's a fire type, and I name it Twig. Then after a quick battle with Shauna, I go to Route 2 and I catch a Bunnelby, which I name Shovel. Then on Santalon Forest I catch a Fletchling and I name it Robin. So after a little training, it's time to face Viola, the bug type gym leader. She starts with Surskit and I go with Robin. I use Peck for a huge damage, then we take a bubble before another Peck takes Surskit down. Next is Vivillon, which goes right away with Infestation, while I use Peck. I go for another Peck and Vivillon still uses Infestation while we still take damage from the previous one. Here I start to panic because I need to have a high roll so I can take Vivillon down before I go down with Infestation. Vivillon goes for Tackle, we still survive, then I use Peck, but Vivillon survives on the red, and then the Infestation leaves Robin on 2 HP. Viola heals with a potion, so I decide to at least leave a little damage on Vivillon before I let Robin go down. But Robin refuses to go down because it lands a critical hit with Peck, putting down Vivillon, winning us the first patch. Wow, Robin, I'm sorry for doubting on you. Well, we can get the experience share from Viola's sister, and here on Route 4 we catch a Flababy, and I name it Fairy Leaf. Then we go to Professor's lab, where we fight him, but it was actually easy since we were over level. Then we have to choose one of those starters. I choose Charmander, obviously, but I put it on a box right away, since I'm not allowed to use it. Then on Route 5, Robin evolves into Fletchinder, and we have a quick battle with Tierno. And then we find a Skiddo, which I name Leafcoat. Then after we meet a sleeping Snorlax on the middle of the road, on Route 7, we go get the Pokeflute. Then I go to Route 6 and I found a male Explorer, and I name it Dark Knight. After we take care of the Snorlax, which of course I run away, on Route 7 I catch a Swirlix, and I name it Cotton Candy. And also Twig evolves into Braixen. On Route 8 I catch an Inkay, and I name it Calamar. Then after we save a scientist from the Team Flare, we receive a Jaw Fossil, and on Route 9 I catch a Helioptile and I name it Solar Shock. And then after I revive my fossil, I just decide to call it Jaw. So finally we get to Silas City, where I managed to evolve Fairy Leaf into Floette, and I managed to evolve Shovel into Diggersby as well. After that I go face Grant, the rock type gym leader. It starts with Amora and I go with Shovel. I start to go for Mud Slap and Amora immediately misses Takedown. I go for another Mud Slap and Amora misses another Takedown. Then I use Double Kick and I leave Amora on the red, while Amora misses another Takedown. Grant heals Amora but it's no use because 2 more double kicks takes down a Mora. Next and last is Tyrant. So I go for another Mud Slap, and Tyrant misses a Rock Tomb. I go for another Mud Slap, but this time Tyrant hits a Bite. I go for another Mud Slap, which leaves Tyrant on half, and Tyrant misses another Rock Tomb. Nice. I go for another Mud Slap, but this time Tyrant hits a Rock Tomb, now lowering our speed. Since I know that Shovel is not fast anymore, I change for Fairy Leaf, which takes a Bite. Then Tyrant misses a Stomp, and then a Fairy Wind takes down Tyrant, winning us the second badge. I was actually thinking that Fairy Leaf was faster. I got surprised when I saw that Tyrant attacked first, but I was relieved right away after I see that Tyrant miss as well, so we made it, that's what matters. Then I go to Route 10 to get the Halucha. I can also get an Eevee, which I can evolve into Sylveon, but I already have a Fairy type, well, 2 actually, but I really want to have a ride with Florges. I just hope I can still have it until the rest of the run. So I decide to go to the grass, where Halucha shows more often than Eevee. So I catch Halucha and I name it Wrestler. Then after we arrive to Shallow City, seeing Serena's team, I decide to change my own team, so I bring Solar Shock, Calamar and Wrestler with me. She starts with Meowstic and I go with Calamar. We take a priority fake out, then Meowstic goes for Light Screen and I use Hypnosis to put it to sleep. Then I take down Meowstic with 2 foul plays. Next is Absol. Absol uses Quick Attack and we miss our Hypnosis. Then we take another Quick Attack, surviving on 7 HP, and we land an Hypnosis. That way I can bring Fairy Leaf safely and use Fairy Wind, which only does a quarter, but still it's okay. Unfortunately, Absol wakes up right away and uses Slash, leaving Fairy Leaf on 5 HP, before we land another Fairy Wind. I change then for Wrestler, which takes another Slash. We then take a Quick Attack, surviving again on 5 HP before I use Roost to heal. On the next turn, I use another Roost to heal back to full, while we take a Bite. Then I use an Aerial Ace to take down Absol. Last is Frogadier. We take a Quick Attack and I go for Wing Attack, not making too much damage. Then we take another Quick Attack while I go for Roost. Then Frogadier uses Water Pulse, while I use another Roost to heal. From here, we take a Quick Attack, I attack with Aerial Ace, then we take another Quick Attack, then I use Roost to heal. We take another Quick Attack, I use Aerial Ace, we take another Quick Attack, then we take down Frogadier with another Aerial Ace, winning the fight. Then after this we go to the gym, we face the gym trainers here where Dark Knight evolves into Meowstic, and now it's time to face Corina, the fighting type gym leader. She starts with Mianfu and I go with Robin. We take a priority fake out, then I use Peck for a third, while Mianfu uses Power Up Punch. Then we get some healing from our Oran Berry, then I go for another Peck, while Mianfu uses Double Slap, and gets burned in the process, because of Robin's Flame Body. The burn brings Mianfu to the red, then of course Corina heals Mianfu, and I go for another Peck, and the burn leaves Mianfu on half. Then I go for another Peck, Mianfu misses the next attack, and the burn takes it down. Next is of course Machoke, and I know this thing has Rock Tomb, so I change for Calamar. We take a Rock Tomb, and thanks to Calamar's ability Contrary, instead of lowering Calamar's speed, it boosts the speed. I go for Hypnosis, but we miss, and Machoke hits another Rock Tomb. On the next turn, we hit the Hypnosis, fortunately, then Machoke stays asleep while I use 3 Psybeams to take it down. Last is Halucha, so I change for my own Halucha, Wrestler, but we take a massive damage from Flying Press. So I change this time for Dark Knight, which takes another Flying Press, but more softly. We take another Flying Press, and then I use Psyshock, which crits and leaves Halucha on the range for Corina heal with another Hyper Potion. And my next Psyshock makes almost half. We take another Flying Press, which we survive on 3 HP, and then another Psyshock leaves Halucha on the red. Are you kidding? I change then for Twig, which takes a power up punch. Then I'm sure if Hawlucha attacks, Twig goes down. So looking to my team, there was only one that could take the remaining health from a Hawlucha, but I would have to make a sacrifice. Sorry, Dark Knight. You were with us for a short time, but you will not be forgot. With a salute, I send Dark Knight while it goes down with a flying press. Then I send next Robin, which finishes off Hawlucha with a quick attack, and winning the third batch. I put Dark Knight on the box and I bring Shovel with me. On Route 12 I grab the Shiny Stone and the leftovers. And then after we arrive to Cormorant City we have another battle with Serena. She starts with Meowstic and I go with Calamar. We take a priority fake out first, we miss our first Hypnosis, then Meowstic uses Disarming Voice, making a lot of damage, then we hit the Hypnosis, then on the next turn I go for Foul Play while we recover some health from leftovers. Then Meowstic continues to sleep while I go for another Foul Play, leaving it on the red. Fortunately Meowstic still continues sleeping, so another Foul Play takes it down. Next is Absol, we take a quick attack and then I use Hypnosis to put it to sleep. Then I change for Wrestler and Absol still continues sleeping for 2 turns, which is enough to take it down with 2 flying presses. Last is Frogadier, we take a quick attack, then I go for flying press. On the next turn I'm faster, which means it's a speed tie, and I go for another flying press, but Frogadier uses Water Pulse, making a lot of damage and get the Confuse. Since I don't want to risk lose Wrestler hitting itself in Confuse, and even if you make through Confuse, we could lose this time the speed tie. So I change for Fairy Leaf, which takes a quick attack, which means it was the right call. Then we take another quick attack and then a Magical Leaf takes down Frogadier, winning the fight. I'm glad we made it. Now it's time to face Ramos, the grass type gym leader. It starts with Jumpluff and I go with Calamar. We take an Acrobatics before we land an Hypnosis, fortunately. Then I change for Twig and then I start to use Flame Charge, not only to make damage but also to increase Twig's speed. We leave almost on the red until Ramos heals Jumpluff. I still go for 2 more Flame Charges before Jumpluff wakes up and lands another Acrobatics, making more than half. Of course now Jumpluff is on the range for Ramos to heal again while I use another Flame Charge, which I was hoping for a crit at least, but we don't have it, so I need to switch for Wrestler, which takes a massive damage from Acrobatic, surviving on 8 HP. And then we can land an Aerial Ace to take down Jumpluff. Next is Go-Goat. I could switch for Robin, but since Go-Goat could go for takedown, I would lose the chance to take down Ramos' next Pokemon. So I decide to stay in and let Wrestler go. So I go for Flying Press, but Go-Goat misses takedown. Nice! Which means another Flying Press takes down Go-Goat. Last is Whipping Bell, and here I'm not scared to change this time, so I bring Robin, which has the leftovers. We take an Acid, then I go for Fly, which misses. Of course it does. But Whipping Bell misses Poison Powder, which is good. Then I go for another Fly, which hits and takes down Whipping Bell in one shot, winning us the 4th batch. Not bad. I was ready to lose Wrestler, but I'm glad that I didn't. Then after we face some Team Flare Grunts, we get to Lumiose City, and here I noticed that Inkay didn't evolve yet. I knew he evolved at level 30, but it still didn't evolve, so I was confused and I go check it out and I forgot that it needs to evolve with the console upside down. But of course, I'm playing on an emulator, so after some search for that, I managed to find the trick to evolve Calamar into Malamar, and I also evolved Robin into Talonflame as well. After that, it's time to face Clement, the electric type gym leader. It starts with Emolga and I go with Shovel. Emolga goes for Aerial Ace and I go for Rock Tomb, making a quarter and lowering its speed. Which means on the next turn I'm faster and I go for another Rock Tomb while Emolga uses another Aerial Ace. Then another Rock Tomb takes down Emolga. Next is Heliolisk. Heliolisk starts to go for Quick Attack while I use Mud Shot. Heliolisk uses another quick attack since it can't use electric moves on Shovel, leaving Shovel on the red. Then I use another Mud Shot, then I change for Wrestler, which takes a quick attack, then a power-up punch takes down Heliolisk. Last is Magneton, predicting a Thunderbolt. I change for Shovel, which is immune thanks to his ground type. Then I change for Twig, which takes a Mirror Shot, then I use Flame Charge while Magneton goes for Electric Terrain to boost its electric type moves. Because of that, I predict that you would use again Thunderbolt, so I change for Shovel again. Now I just want for this electric terrain to disappear, so to pass the time I change for Robin this time, which takes a Mirror Shot, then back to Shovel for the Thunderbolt prediction, then back to Robin to take a Mirror Shot and the electric terrain disappears. Then I change back for Shovel for another Thunderbolt, then back to Robin for Mirror Shot, then back to Shovel for the immunity for Thunderbolt, then I change for Calamar, which takes a Mirror Shot and gets its accuracy increased thanks to his contrary ability. Then I hit a Hypnosis, putting Magneton to sleep. Now that I finally got a chance, I switch for Twig. I go for Flame Charge, making more than half, and Magneton wakes up and uses Electric Terrain again. But thanks to the speed increase from Flame Charge, I'm faster now and I can take down Magneton with another Flame Charge, winning us finally the 5th badge. And Twig after the battle evolves into Delphox. Well deserved, buddy. This fight took a while, but I think we managed quite well actually. Then we go to Route 14, where we have another fight with our rival. She starts with Meowstic and I go with Calamar. Meowstic uses priority fake out, then goes for light screen while we miss the hypnosis. On the next turn, Meowstic goes for disarming voice and we miss another hypnosis. On the next turn, Meowstic uses another disarming voice and we finally hit a hypnosis. Then I use a foul play and Meowstic wakes up to use another disarming voice and leaves Calamar on the red. But we managed to take down Meowstic with another foul play. I don't know why I just didn't go for the attack right away. Stupid play in my part. Next is Absol, so I change for Wrestler, which takes a quick attack. We take another one, then I use Power Up Punch, making more than half. Then another one on the next turn to take down Absol. Last is Greninja, we take some Water Shurikens, then a Power Up Punch leaves Greninja on the red. Then we take a quick attack and then another Power Up Punch takes down Greninja, winning the fight. On this same route, I managed to catch a Gumi and I name it Slimy. Then we get to Lava City and it's time to face Valerie, the fairy type gym leader. She starts with Mawile and I go with Twig, which takes Mawile down right away with a Mystical Fire. Next is Sylveon. I start to use Psyshock against it, while Sylveon uses Swift and Dazzlingly. It took a while to take down Sylveon because Valerie healed twice, while Sylveon was making some damage to Twig. But the leftovers that I give to Twig was paying off, and eventually I managed to take down Sylveon. Last is Mr. Mime, and for this one I decide to use Light Screen while Mr. Mime uses Reflect. Then I go for Psyshock, making more than half, with a crit, while Mr. Mime uses Light Screen. Then Mr. Mime starts to use Psychic, not making too much damage because of our Light Screen, but I'm not doing too much damage as well because of Mr. Mime's Light Screen. But thanks to our leftovers, we recover a little more health than Mr. Mime can take, so eventually I managed to take down Mr. Mime. And like that we get our 6th badge. Then we have some more Team Flairy storyline before we reach Anistar City, and of course, our rival is waiting for us for another battle. She starts with Meowstic and I go with Calamar. Meowstic goes for priority fake out, then it uses Shadow Ball, which instead of dropping, it raises Calamar's special defense. Then I use a Hypnosis to put Meowstic to sleep, then I go for Foul Play, making a half, then Meowstic wakes up and uses Shadow Ball again while I go for another Foul Play. Then we take another Shadow Ball while we take out Meowstic with Psycho Cut. Next is Flareon, so I change for Shovel, which takes a quick attack. Then I use Dig, making more than half to Flareon. Then Flareon uses Lava Plume, making also half. and getting the burn. Damn. I still risk and I go for another dig, which leaves Flareon on the red, so I decide to change for Wrestler, which takes a quick attack, of course. Then I use a power-up punch to take out Flareon so I can raise Wrestler's attack, because next is Absol, which goes for quick attack. Then a power-up punch still doesn't take it out. So on the next turn we take out Absol with another power-up punch. Last is Greninja, which goes for Dark Pulse, and then a power-up punch leaves Greninja on the red. Are you serious? Of course we still take another Dark Pulse, and we flinch. Okay then. I decide to change for Robin, and Greninja decides to use Water Shuriken, but fortunately it only hit 2 of them. On the next turn I take down Greninja with Quick Attack, winning the fight. Finally. Now it's time to face Olivia, the Psychic type gym leader. She starts with Sigilyph and I go with Calamar. Sigilyph starts with Reflect while I use Hypnosis. Then while Sigilyph sleeps I use 2 Foul Plays. Then Sigilyph wakes up and uses Air Slash and we flinch, of course we do. Then Sigilyph uses another Air Slash, we don't flinch this time, but we miss the Hypnosis. We take another Air Slash and finally we hit the Hypnosis. Then I take down Sigilyph for good with Foul Play. Next is Slowking, which I put to sleep right away with Hypnosis, and that way we can recover some health with the leftovers. Then I go for Foul Play, leaving Slowking on the red, and Slowking wakes up right away and uses Yawn. Olivia heals and I put Slowking back to sleep and see if we are lucky for Slowking to sleep while we fall asleep as well. Fortunately, we still recover some health as well with the leftovers, and then we both wake up at the same time, but we miss the Hypnosis. And Slowking uses Power Gem, which crit. Fortunately, we get lucky to hit the Hypnosis the next turn, then I use another Foul Play, leaving Slowking on the red again. Slowking still sleeps and Olivia heals, so 2 more Foul Plays takes down Slowking. Last is Meowstic. Meowstic goes for Priority Fake Out, which is recovered by our leftovers right away. Then it uses Calm Mind, which I was expecting, so I use Topsy Turvy, which reverses the stat changes. And now instead of having +1 special attack, it has -1 special attack. Which means on the next turn it will use again Calm Mind, while I use Foul Play making half. Of course Meowstic goes again for Calm Mind to reach +1 special attack, so I reverse again with Topsy Turvy. And on the next turn its Shadow Ball doesn't do anything, so I can take it out with another Foul Play, winning us the 7th badge. Yes, I risk a lot in this battle, but I just really wanted to defeat Olivia just using Calamar, and fortunately I was successful. Well, moving on. Now it was time to face the Team Flare storyline, and before I face Lysander I go get Solar Shock, and then I actually forgot that it evolved by a Sunstone, not a Thunderstone. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that. Either way, I found a guy who can give me the Sunstone. Then after Solar Shock learned the moves I wanted, I use it on Solar Shock to evolve into Heliolisk. And then it was time to face Lysander. It starts with Mianfu and I go with Robin. I use an Acrobatics, which takes down right away Mianfu. Next is Gyarados, so I change for Solar Shock, and Gyarados attacks with Aqua Tail, which is absorbed by Solar Shock's Dry Skin, granting me a free switch. Since I know Gyarados will go for Earthquake, I use Volt Switch, leaving Gyarados on the red. Then I bring Robin, which is immune to Earthquake because of its flying type. Then I take down Gyarados with an Acrobatics. Next is Murkrow, so I change back to Solar Shock, which takes a Foul Play. Then I restore Solar Shock's health by using Parabolic Charge, leaving Murkrow on the red. How did this thing survive that? Well, either way, we take another critical hit Foul Play, but then I use Volt Switch to take down Murkrow and grant myself a free switch to Shovel, which will face Pyroar next. We take a massive damage from Fire Blast, then we make half with Dig. Since I will still need Shovel, I decide to change for Twig, which takes another Fire Blast. Then we take a Dark Pulse, surviving on the red, then I take down Pyroar, with a Psyshock, winning the fight. That was close. After Fairy Leaf learned Moonblast, it was time to use the Shining Stone that I got to evolve it into Florges. After we unleash the ultimate weapon by accident, we go face Lysander for the second time, which was as easy as the first time. I take down Mianshu with an acrobatics from Robin, then Gyarados I take it down with a Thunderbolt from Solar Shock, then Pyroar I use a combination of Volt Switch from Solar Shock and a Surf from Shovel, and then a Moonblast from Fairy Leaf to take it down. And last, of course, I take down Honchkrow with a single Moonblast, winning the fight. Then I decide to bring Wrestler with me because I figured it that I will need it for the third fight against Lysander. It starts with Mienshao and I go with Wrestler and I take down Mienshao right away with Flying Press. Next is Honchkrow, so I change for Solar Shock, which takes an Aerial Ace. Then I use Parabolic Charge, which crits and leaves Honchkrow on the red. Then we take a Night Slash, making a lot of damage. Then I take down Honchkrow with a Volt Switch and changing for Wrestler. Next is Pyroar. I use first a Power Up Punch to raise my attack, then Pyroar uses Fire Blast, making a lot of damage. Then I take down Pyroar with a Flying Press. Next is Gyarados, which Mega Evolves and becomes a Dark type, which means my high jump kick makes more than half to Gyarados. But unfortunately I need to let Wrestler go down with the Aqua Tail. Then I bring Solar Shock to take down the rest of Gyarados' health with a Volt Switch, winning the fight. After the world is safe again, we go face Sycamore, which was easy, obviously. Then we have 3 consecutive fights. First with Sharna. She starts with Delcatty and I go with Calamar. I use first Hypnosis, then I use 3 Psycho Cuts to take it down. Next is Gudra. I put it to sleep as well with Hypnosis, then I change for Fairy Leaf and Gudra wakes up right away, but it only uses Dragon Pulse, which has no effect on Fairy types. Then I use Moonblast. Gudra only uses Earthquake next, so another Moonblast takes Gudra down. Last is Jasnot, so I change for Robin. Jasnot wastes its time for Spiky Shield, so I take it down with an Acrobatics, winning the first fight. Next is Tierno. It starts with Talonflame, and of course I go with Calamar. We take an Acrobatics, then I put Talonflame to sleep with Hypnosis. Then I change for Solar Shock, then Talonflame wakes up and uses Acrobatics. I go for Parabolic Charge, making half damage. Then Talonflame goes for another Acrobatics, but we manage to take down Talonflame with a Volt Switch. Next is Roserade, and I bring Calamar because I thought it would be Crowdent, but I change right away for Robin. Then we take a Petal Dance before I take down Roserade with an Acrobatics. Last is Crawdaunt, so I change for Solar Shock to absorb the Crab Hammer for health thanks to Solar Shock's Dry Skin. Then I use Volt Switch, leaving Crawdaunt on the red, and changing for Calamar, which takes a critical hit, Night Slash. Then I take down Crawdaunt with a Superpower, winning the second fight. Last is Trevor. It starts with Raichu and I still go with Calamar because I don't have other choice. We take a Thunderbolt and we miss the Hypnosis. On the next turn we take another Thunderbolt and fortunately Hypnosis hits, putting Raichu to sleep. Then I change for Shovel and Raichu wakes up right away. For a Slam, I go for Dig and leave Raichu on the red. But we get paralyzed. We take another Slam and we get fully paralyzed while using Dig. So this time I decide to use Cut to take down Raichu. Next is Florges, so I change for Fairy Leaf, my own Florges, which takes an Energy Ball. Then here Florges and Fairy Leaf start to exchange Moonblast against each other, but of course Fairy Leaf having the advantage because I was also using Wish to restore health every time I could. And took a while, but Florges eventually goes down. Last is Aerodactyl, which uses Supersonic, but we still get through that and use Petal Dance. Then I change for Shovel, which takes a Sky Drop, and then I use Surf for a little damage. Then I change for Solar Shock, which takes another Sky Drop, but then a Parabolic Charge takes down Aerodactyl, winning the third fight. And since Robin overleveled, I decide to replace it for Keyring, Yeah, I forgot to mention that I catch a Klefki, which I named Keyring. Yeah, sorry about that. I managed to catch it on Route 15. Sorry about that. And actually Keyring managed well with the gym trainers, but when I get to Wolfric, the Ice-type gym leader, I decide to go with another member of my team. I decide to use Twig. I managed to take down a Bombasnow, an Avalok, with a single flamethrower. But when Cryogonal comes out, it goes for Confuse Ray first, but we managed to hit Cryogonal with a flamethrower, which makes more than half. Then Cryogonal goes for Ice Beam, which freezes Twig. Then we stay freeze for 3 turns, and only when Cryogonal leaves Twig on 15 HP is when we finally thaw out and finally take down Cryogonal with another flamethrower, winning us the last batch. Of course I had Keyring on the back just in case, but fortunately we didn't need it, so it's good. And of course we are able to put Robin back into the team. Across the victory road we found our rival for a last battle. She starts with Meowstic and I go with Calamar. Meowstic goes for priority fake out, then a disarming voice, and then we miss the hypnosis. Great. Then Meowstic goes for Shadow Ball, while our hypnosis hits, putting Meowstic to sleep. Then I use a Psycho Cut, then Meowstic wakes up right away and uses disarming voice, while I use Superpower, which instead of lowering our attack and defense, it raises our attack and defense, thanks to Calamar's contrary ability. Then we survive a critical hit Shadow Ball on 1 HP while we put Meowstic to sleep again with Hypnosis. Then we take down Meowstic with 2 more superpowers. Next is Altaria, so I change for Fairy Leaf, which takes a Dazzling Gleam. Then I use Moonblast, which leaves Altaria on the red. We take another Dazzling Gleam and then we take down Altaria with another Moonblast. Next is Greninja. I could take it out with Moonblast, but I decide to give a chance to Solar Shock, which takes an Ice Beam. Then we take a Dark Pulse, surviving on the red. Then of course a Parabolic Charge heals us until half, and also making half damage to Greninja. We survive on the red again from another Dark Pulse from Greninja, and then I use Volt Switch to take down Greninja and have a free switch. I decide to send Fairy Leaf, expecting to be Absol, but Serena sends Flareon instead. I go for Moonblast, making a quarter, while Flareon uses Lava Plume, not doing almost anything to Fairy Leaf. But of course I didn't want to stay here playing, I just wanted to finish this quickly, so I changed for Shovel. Then with an Earthquake I take down Flareon. Last is Absol, so I change for Fairy Leaf, which takes a massive damage from Night Slash. I wasn't expecting that. Now obviously I need to change, so I bring Robin next, which takes a quick attack. Of course I was counting on that, so I use Fly to make more than half to Absol. We take a Night Slash, then another Fly takes down Absol, winning the fight. Nice. So finally we get to the Pokemon League, and we can face the Elite Four on each order we want. And I start first with Drasna, the Dragon-type specialist. She starts with Dragalge and I go with Calamar. I go with Psycho Cut, making more than half, then we take a Sludge Bomb before taking out Dragalge with another Psycho Cut. Next is Altaria, so I change for Fairy Leaf, which takes a Moonblast. Then I go for my own Moonblast, leaving Altaria in the red. Of course Drasna heals and we have to go again for another Moonblast. After Drasna heals again, I go for another Moonblast and then a Magical Leaf to take down Altaria. Next is Noivern. Noivern misses an Air Slash and our Moonblast leaves Noivern on the red. Then I go for Magical Leaf, which I forgot it wasn't gonna make that much effect, so Noivern still has the chance to use another Air Slash, which fortunately doesn't flinch. Then another Magical Leaf takes it down. Last is Draigon. I go for Moonblast, leaving also on the red, every single time. Draigon uses Chip Away, which leaves Fairy Leaf on the red, but then another Moonblast takes down Draigon, winning the fight. Next is Wickstrom, the Steel-type specialist. It starts with Klefki and I go with Twig. Klefki uses spikes before it goes down with a single flamethrower. Next is Probopass, so I change for Shovel, which takes a Power Gem. I go for Surf to break it sturdy, then we take a Flash Cannon, then an Earthquake takes down Probopass. Next is AG Slash, so I change for Twig, which takes a Sacred Sword, then a Flamethrower takes down AG Slash. Last is Caesar, but another Flamethrower takes down Caesar, winning the fight. Next is Malva, the Fire type specialist. She starts with Pyroar and I go with Calamar. Pyroar goes for Noble Roar, which instead of lowering, it raises Calamar's attack, thanks to its ability. We miss an Hypnosis, then Pyroar goes for another Noble Roar, raising again my attack. The AI is being stupid right now. And also we miss another Hypnosis. Damn. Then Pyroar uses Flamethrower, which burns, of course it does, and I use Superpower taking more than half and raising my attack even more. Malva heals, but then another Superpower takes down Pyroar. Next is Talonflame, we take a Flare Blitz, and with the burn we survive on 4 HP before putting Talonflame to sleep. Then I change for Shovel, and I go for Rock Tomb, making more than half and lowering its speed. Then since I got scared because of Talonflame waking up and still being faster than Shovel, I change for my own Talonflame, Robin. And of course Talonflame wakes up while I use Tailwind, and Talonflame goes for Brave Bird. Then I change back to Shovel while Malva heals, and then I take down Talonflame with 2 Rock Tombs. Yeah, I could have taken down Talonflame before with Shovel, but sometimes I get scared with some things that can happen and sometimes I make wrong plays. But hey, we defeat Talonflame, that's something. But still we are not done yet, since we still have Torkoal to deal with. I go for Earthquake, making half, and Torkoal uses also Earthquake. But then another Earthquake takes down Torkoal. Last is Chandelure, so I change for Twig to take a Flamethrower. Then I change for Solar Shock, which is immune to Shadow Ball thanks to its normal type. Then I use a Volt Switch, which makes more than half, and also to switch back to Twig to take another resistant Flamethrower. And since I know that Chandelure will use Shadow Ball again against Twig, I change back to Solar Shock for its immunity, and then I take down Chandelure with a Thunderbolt, winning the fight. Last is Seabolt, the Water type specialist. It starts with Clotzer and I go with Fairy Leaf. I use Petal Dance to make half damage, then Clotzer uses Water Pulse, confusing Fairy Leaf. Then I change for Solar Shock, which absorbs the Water Pulse thanks to its dry skin. Then I use Thunderbolt to take down Clotzer. And I also take down Gyarados with a Thunderbolt soon after. Next is Barbaracle, I go for Thunderbolt, making half, then Barbaracle misses a Cross Chop, fortunately, then another Thunderbolt takes down Barbaracle. Last is Starmie, which goes for Psychic, making half damage, but another Thunderbolt takes down Starmie, winning the fight. Not bad, we were lucky on this one. If Barbaracle didn't miss, we were done. I risk a lot on this fight, but hey, now it's time to face the champion, Diantha. She starts with Hawlucha and I go with Fairy Leaf. I quickly take down Hawlucha with Moonblast, after he uses Sword Stance. Next is Tyrantrum, which also goes down with Moonblast. It didn't make sense her bringing Tyrantrum when I have a Fairy type on the field, but oh well. Next is Auroros, so I change for Twig, while Auroros goes for Light Screen. Then I use Will-O-Wisp to burn Auroros, while Auroros uses Thunder, which doesn't do that much thanks to the burn. Then Auroros start to miss Thunder while I attack with Flamethrower, until Diantha heals Auroros. Auroros still uses Light Screen while I use some Flamethrowers and another Will-O-Wisp. Then Aurora hits another Thunder, then I go for another Flamethrower, Aurora misses another Thunder, and then it goes down by the burn. I will take that. Next is Gourgeist, so I go for Flamethrower, which makes more than half, while Gourgeist goes for Phantom Force. But that is not a problem, because now I change for Solar Shock, which is immune. Then I use a Volt Switch to take down Gourgeist, and change for Fairy Leaf, because next is Goodra. I go for Moonblast, making more than half, and then Goodra uses Fire Blast. Then another Moonblast takes down Goodra. Last is Gardevoir, which Mega Evolves, and uses Moonblast, while I use Wish. Then I change for Robin, which takes a Moonblast, but it's healed right away by Wish. Then I go for Steel Wing, making a crit and leaving Gardevoir on the red. and God of War uses Thunderbolt, which we survive because Steel Wing raised our defense. Diantha heals God of War, but then 2 more Steel Wings takes down God of War, becoming the champion, winning the battle and the run. Well, this was fun, although I think for a normal Nuzlocke, Kalos is very easy, so this wasn't that special, but I still have fun with this one. And if you also enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Evie will also appreciate. I hope I see you in the next video. Peace!